Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge the Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 4v4 ladder here on the map, STUTTA AQUA PUGNA matchmaker version. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with red team here in the northwest and in a little bit on the east, ending with team 2, mostly in the southeast, but a little bit in the southwest as well. Starting off with the lone player on team 1 on his own little island. It is the 1996 rated player of F. Odin going first land as an Aeon. He is in Ruby Red, and again, he's going first land. All the way to the west here in Chevy Crimson, we have their work Zach. I call him Zach for short, going first land as a Cybran. He is a 1495 rating. And we have in orange, the color orange, it is Nerd Power going first land as another Cybran here for Team Red or Team 1. He is a 1412 rating. And last but not least, here for Team 1, it is Exterminator Hunt going first land as a UEF. He is a 1480 rating, and he is in Light Oak Tan. So for Team 1 side of things, we have an Aeon, 2 Cybrans, and a UEF, which means Team 1 does not have access to Seraphim technology. Down here in the southwest corner, all by his lonesome, is Flying Olsen going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1767 rating, and he is in Stitch Blue. In Royal Blue here in the east is Nasimka going first land as an UEF. He is a 1685 rating. Oh, and by the way, Flying Olsen is the highest rated player on Team 2. And again, Nasimka is at 1685 rating in Royal Blue as a UEF going second to air as well. And in the middle here is Naberwasser going first line as a Cybran. He is in Amethyst Purple at a 1419 rating going first land. And last but not least, for Team 2 on this eastern side is Sulfur 1 going first land as a Seraphim in Tropical Ocean Blue at 1632 rating. So for the blue team side of things, they have one of each of the factions, one Cybran, one Seraphim, one UEF, and one Aeon. Let's take a look at the map here for current reclaim still on the map. And for 8 players, we have 28,000 reclaim to scoop up, which is about at least 3,000 reclaim per player. Leaves about so it's about 3,500 per player. That is a ton of mass to scoop up, and obviously, as you can see, there is a lot of water to traverse. And in terms of mass points, there are, I'd say, not really a lot to fight over. There are a couple of one-offs here on the eastern side of things. There's a double mechs over here near Team 1 and Team 2's players on their own little islands. It's definitely a different kind of map. You have one player entirely by their lonesome, so they're kind of isolated over there. And there's a lot of civilian structures. Don't let the red fool you. It does not belong to F. Odin. To take an example, in the southeast, we have a nice little air grid here. Nice little airstrip. We have a couple of T1 transports with a couple of interceptors guarding them, T2 gunship, a bunch of T1 tanks, and some AA units as well. Air scouts. We have a T2 mass fabricator in the middle. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. It's right there next to some T1 P-gens. T2 shield down here with a T2 P-gen as well. That's a nice juicy target to scoop up here, and a T1 PD2 protected, as well as a couple of structures over here in the east. And a nice little arrow. I like how there's a little arrow icon here with a T2 radar in the rear. There's a lot of map for players to expand outward. It is 20 by 20 with only 8 players. It's a ton of room. Oh, and just to show, there are a couple of civilian structures down here. And I think those are a couple of civilian trucks as well. I'm going to zoom in and out a lot. Nice little facility over here with another T2 P-gen and a T1 Mechs. It's a T1 PD to protect it. And there's another couple of civilian structures up here with a nice little T1 P-gen that the engineer is currently scooping up. But this is going to be heavily focused on the naval side of things, just because there's just a ton of Navy. And it is, I think this map is slightly under an hour. I think it's like 53, or replay actually is 53 minutes or so. There's a ton of time to sit back, relax, get something to drink, get something to eat, and enjoy the show. And we even see a couple of comms here from Team 1 and Team 2 in the water, traversing to the other islands in the middle of the map here. We see, of course, Flying Olsen going for his T1 facilities. We see Nasimka going for these T2 mexes. Sorry, two T1 mexes up here. We do see Sulfur going after this position. Nice little interceptor trying to chase after that transport. And a couple of engineers do land, getting a nice T1 land facility online with a couple of tanks to protect it. And on this island, there are another T2 mass fabricator. Again, in terms of reclaim, there was 28,000, but with all the structures, I mean, that obviously adds up. So probably about, maybe, I wouldn't say 40, but 35 at a minimum. But between all of the, the civilian structures, the T2 P-gens, the T2 mass fabricators, all of that. So hopefully everybody enjoys this game. Of course, it is a different map for me. I made sure there's no issues of the recording with desyncs and whatnot. So there's that. But I have, besides the initial making sure the cast worked or the replay worked, I've never seen this map before. So it's a new map for me. It's definitely different to see a bunch of just random, well, not random, but a lot of enemy, quote unquote, more like hostile AI units here on the map that take up a decent amount of the map here. It's very different to see that, but hopefully as I learn the map, you're patient with me, and I do appreciate that as well, of course, as I just am aware. This should be in rotation. Obviously, it is a ladder match, so it should be in rotation. Other players should be experiencing this and getting more familiar with it. I do like it. I like the look of it. I like the way the color of the water, the environment. Like, I do love it because it's not settings, it's not dual gap, it's not map gen, it's an actual map. And map gen is fine, but I do like actual maps as well. We did see a drop similar to Team 2's Sulfur outbound from Team 1's not Nerd Power, trying to go after, again, those T1 mexes. But we did see a nice little T1 facility online also for Flying Olsen. It's on his side of the map, but that facility will be killed off very, very quickly. But Team 2 Sulfur is still putting up a nice little fight here. We see a couple of one T1AA. There's an Aurora inbound, but there is a THAM nearby as well. That Aurora is not going to last very long. Does look like the bombers are going after the radar systems. Going to build probably another one, I would assume, to, of course, get the radar online easily to defend against that. Incoming pressure. A couple of T1 engineers being dropped off to scoop up reclaim. You can see very easily. So each structure worth probably about 100. So yeah, 3,500 was probably a good betting number to go off. And Team 1 does have a couple of their comms in the water. We see Zach in the water as well as F. Odin. F. Odin is moving to that middle island here to just say, I'm done. I'm tired of all this nonsense going on here. It's my island. Go away. We did see a couple of frigates going after these T1 mexes here on the tiny, tiny little islands. But there are some frigates here for Team 2 Sulfur to defend as well. So again, lots of Navy going to be pumped out here on this map. For those that do not enjoy Navy, I do apologize. Obviously, there will be at least some air involved at a minimum. But if it's not your game, I do apologize. There obviously, you have 200 plus casts on the channel to go look at as well. But I would encourage, Navy is a part of the game. It's not as enjoyable for some people as it is for others. But of course, I do encourage to learn all aspects of the game, because maybe some people just don't like it because they don't have a lot of experience with it and whatnot. And I encourage everyone to try new things, especially myself, because as of the recording, I'm currently on a cruise, and I've never been on one, so it's definitely a new experience for me. And I did appreciate all of the support from the past week on, hey, you should go get this drink package. Hey, hopefully you enjoy your cruise, all that. I did appreciate all those shout-outs, so thank you so much to those that did that, of course. And we did see a nice T1 torpedo launcher. This is one of those instances where a torpedo launcher is actually kind of useful. We have the comm of Sulfur trying to repair it as it stays online. And those torpedoes can go pretty far in taking out that beacon class. But there's a lot of frigates here for Team 1 as well. And one torp launcher is not going to be enough, really. But it does help with a couple of boats, but not with, 10 or so frigates. And it does look like Sulfur will be knocked out of the water for the time being. And maybe he can squeeze by some units on this eastern edge, but it's going to be a lot of bottlenecking, so probably not the best idea. And I would not be surprised to see a lot of players on both teams go T2 air just for all of the torp bombers that you're going to need, because it's Navy and you're just going to need it. But Team 1's players of Flying Olsen have been able to knock out Team 2's players have been able to knock out Team 1's Exterminator Hun on this western side. Exterminator Hun did comment about the fact that it is 2v1, probably in reference to the water. Commenting also about Nasimka. And again, it's essentially a 3v1 on this eastern side. T2 Navy does get finished for Sulfur. And it's kind of an interesting play because there's a bunch of frigates. And he's producing as many frigates as he can. But there's a lot of firepower going down. T1 Torps still being built here by Sulfur, trying to stave off that incoming threat. And just with the firepower alone, I do not understand the investment in T2 Navy. Probably should have put it to T2 Air and called it a day, and then probably pumped some of those bombers out to deter all of this threat. But Sulfur just hanging out, producing his T1 Torp launchers. I don't think they'll really be finished off with that amount of firepower, but he's still annoying Team 1. Of course, that's better than nothing. Team 1 probably should getting some T2 Navy online here shortly. The first facility that had T2 looks like it was already killed off, so that is something. There is a nice mech that hasn't been taken by either team, so that one hasn't been claimed yet. Has been claimed up there, and it does look like Team 1's F. Odin has eliminated Sulfur's presence with the assistance of Zach in this eastern island here. We do see Team 1 frigates getting into the main production facilities here for nerd power as well, and it's not looking good here for both teams, at least on these eastern and western side of things. For those naval players, we do see no facilities online for Team 2's purple player of Naberwest, but he's going for T3 Air at 11.5 minutes in this game, starting to produce some Revenants, some T3 Strat Bombers. I think this is the first game in a while I've seen a Strat Bomber, the air player go for Strat Bomber first. And there he goes. He even has a Torp Bomber as well. We do see a couple of T1 units here for him as well, taking out all of this spam units that are just kind of hanging out, waiting to die, essentially. I do like the aesthetic that there's an actual landing strip sort of thing, but it's not really doing much of anything. I kind of would like if the map fought back against you in FAF, so it's kind of, obviously you're facing off against the other team of actual players, like real players, not AI players, but you also, like, there's this kind of AI element, so it's kind of PvP and PvE. That'd be kind of cool to kind of introduce, to kind of shake things up. I know I've seen it with some AIs being kind of implemented in that regard, but having map-specific things where they're producing T1, tanks and bombers and stuff like that, kind of would change up the strategy just a little bit. I would love to see that, but I don't know if that will be implemented or not. Long line of T1 frigates outbound here from Team 1, and a couple of Torp bombers almost online as well to force these units back. I did see the frigate being produced here by Team 2's Flying Olsen, and it's not a UBF or a Seraphim, so it doesn't have the missiles on board, but it does have AA capability, so it's better than nothing. Torp bombers, what are they going after? They're going after the T1 facility down here. T2 is online producing, that is a destroyer, and then we'll produce a Tiger Shark. A Tiger Shark? Well, it's not a Cooper. Is it a... No. What is that? No, that's still a destroyer. I'm just trying to figure out what that the icon is in the one, as a 1 next to it. But frigates do engage. There is a T2 destroyer online as well. ASF over the top. How did that bomber fare? I don't see it yet. If it got sent, I missed it. I do apologize. I was oh, nope, there it is. It's over here. It has been spotted by Team 1. Looks like it's already gotten 2 veterans. He killed off 8,000 mass. There was a T2 mechs he could have gone after, but does look like he took out a couple of mechs there. Lots of inties trying to chase down this bomber, and again has 12 hit points regen, and it actually has a little bit of an AA cannon on board. And what is it going after? Team 1 AA being spammed up. Might take out a T2 BGen. That's going to hurt the income. But no, going to go for the group of T2 mechs. Takes out 2 of them. And the interceptors here also from Team 1's player of Nerd. All of the interceptors from Team 1 being hastily thrown at this bomber. Killed off 12,000 mass so far, almost 13. Going to come in and take out another T2. No. Oh, nope. It's not going to shoot it out of the side window. But it is going to keep going for this position. Looks like it's going after maybe PGens or Mexes. There it drops. Takes out another set of T2 Mexes and a couple of, I think those were engineers. No, those are Riptides, I think. Yeah, those were Riptides. This bomber has killed 15,000 mass at 3 veterancy. Drops another bomb, takes out another set of T2 mexes. Now at 17,000. This bomber has paid for its weight in gold and then some. Huge amount of economic damage here, and most of the interceptors have actually flown off to other parts of the map, and so there's not a lot of things following it. Gonna get another set of T2 mexes right there. That's gotta hurt. Oh man, what is that? 18,000 mass. Gonna get maybe another mex here. There it goes. Just assassinating the economy here for Team 1, is dropping them almost a 300 mass per second versus their, not compatriots, but their opponents of Team 2 at almost 400 at 371. Interceptors are going to be able to intercept, take out some of those hit points. It's in the yellow, it's in the red. Gets a nice rank in veterancy though. Does survive with a couple more hit points, up to 200 hit points left, and repping up back to 300 over 400. Drops another bomb. There it goes. Takes out another T2 mex, fully ringed. Interceptors still trying to chase this thing down. You can see this is what Team 1 can see. They're just trying to intercept it just due to the stealth on that Revenant. And it does look like maybe this will be the end of that bomber. And still at 200 hit points. Takes out another T2 mex. Man, this thing is just destroying Team 1 here. And there it goes. Takes out another T2 mex here pretty soon. There it goes. Bomb drops. That is dropping the eco. Team 1 still above 300. But Team 2 is pulling away, of course, as these mexes are taken out. Another bomb drops again. Interceptors are on station. And AA from that Infinity class takes out that bomber. And there it goes. Killed off a ton of mass. Of course, drops 1,000 mass. But killed off probably close to upwards of 20,000 mass. That was huge here for Team 2's air player of Nabarwasser. That is the play of the game so far, to quote Overwatch. And it does look like some T1 inties protecting their ships here. But a lot of the pressure here from Team 1 has been fizzled away, and Sulfur has been able to reestablish himself in the water. Team 1 has built a very frontline facility here for F. Odin. But I feel like this side's just going to be... Oh, killed 30,000. Excuse me. Nabarwasser said it killed 30,000 mass. Hang on, half the strat. Strat killed 30,000 mass. That is a ton of mass to kill off with one. Not 2, not 3, not 10. One bomber killed 30,000 mass. That is huge ROI. Return on investment, for those that don't know that acronym. And that air grid being actually not pumped out as much as I would think, but it does look like there's a secondary facility here on that hydrocarbon, but the main grid is going to be built a little bit further away. So I do love the decentralization, and it does look like T2 Air online here for Team 2's player of Nasim. Well, nope, that's not Nasimka. That is that is Nasimka. Flying Olsen's over here. He has T2, and then I'm assuming, yeah. So every player on Team 1 and 2 should pretty much have T3 Air. We have Flying Olsen does not. Team 1 Chevy Crimson player of Zach does not. Team 1's Orange the Color Orange player of Nerd does. He has T3, and T2 is online up here. So 2 of the 4 players on Team 1 have at least a T2 air facility, but in a huge naval game like this, you need air. You need those bombers. You need air superiority. Group of bombers is inbound. Let's see, that's probably much a squadron or so. Squadron missing its number 12. And bombers inbound here from Team 2 as well from the Simca, taking out, I think, the destroyers. But there's a large emphasis from Team 1, Zach, going after this position here against Flying Olsen. He has destroyers online as well, trying to pump out damage to deal with this incoming threat of Team 1 frigates. There are some destroyers in the mix, but they're mainly frigates, and there is a couple of cruisers in the rear. Does look like the bombers retasked to go after those cruisers. Again, shoot the stuff that can shoot you, and then shoot everything else. And then those one of the cruisers severely wounded. The other one is in the yellow. But it does look like this attack outbound from Team 1 is going to stay here, at least for the time being. And in the east, it does look like Team 2 Sulfur able to at least push back a little bit. Has a T2 naval headquarters once again, but is still under threat from some destroyers and some cruisers. Again, they don't have missiles on board. Those are the UEF and Seraphim variety, and Team 1 does not have access to Seraphim tech. But Team 2 does, and that is, of course, Sulfur, who's being pressured as we currently speak. Well, I currently speak, not you, because you're watching. I mean, maybe you're speaking. Who knows? Maybe you're just, like, yelling at the screen, being like, you need to, like, go over there. I want to look at this thing again. Stop going back and forth. But T2 pseudo units here for Exterminator going for Riptides, taking out the engineering build power here for Team 2's Flying Olsen. And that wave break here, that T2 torp launcher being taken out very, very quickly here by artillery fire from those destroyers. We even see a nice little bulwark with a destroyer coming in here for Team 1. And this T2 naval headquarters also going to go down. I don't expect it to live for very much longer. I don't see any other T2 facility as well, so it's just Team 1 spam. And there it goes. Another T2 Navy has been taken out for Team 2 in the east and in the west. Team 2 being severely hemmed in by Team 1's Navy. There is a nice push outbound here from Team 2's Nasimco, though, but there is a T3 naval headquarters online here for the Chevy Crimson player of Zach, and he's built a Galaxy-class battleship, and Team 2's forces have surrounded it and the facility that it was built from. And there goes the T3 naval headquarters. It's down, and now the focus primarily is going to be on that battleship. And these are UEF units. Is there any cruisers in the mix? No, there's one cruiser. It has some missiles on board going after some land targets here against Zach. And there are some torp launchers as well. But there goes the Galaxy class here. It has been destroyed. And Team 1 will lose that T3 naval headquarters. That's going to hurt. And there is a T2, of course, here in the east. And it does look like Team 1's player of obviously Exterminator with his naval units has gotten back in that naval game. But Flying Olsen has been bombarded here. He's been knocked out of Navy for the time being. And is having to retreat in the face of all that artillery pressure. Probably should have just walked under the water and called it a day, but wants to at least get back to his main base and defend. Needs a T2 shield immediately, but there goes Flying Olsen. And he just then Control K on top of those Riptides, but just had to do something with it. And Team 1 will gain the first kill in the game on Team 2's highest rated player of Flying Olsen at 21 minutes in this game. And at this point, it's a good little break here to talk about what's going on. Overall, Team 1 has just killed one of Team 2's players, so Team 1 at 4 players left, Team 2 at 3 players left. Team 2 producing almost 200 more mass than their opponents, somewhat particularly due to the fact that Team 2's air player Navarweiser had a very nice 30,000 one strat bomber play here earlier on, so that definitely assisted with that gap. But Team 2 is leading in that regard in terms of the mass generation. Map control, they are severely down. They've lost a naval position here in the southwest and the naval position here in the east for Sulfur, so essentially their only naval player left standing is Nasimca here. Nasimca receiving the base here from Flying Olsen, but that base is not going to last very long due to all the pressure inbound from the naval side of things. Team 1 just lost the T3 naval headquarters here for Zach, but so the middle of the map for Navy is been knocked out, but the western and eastern side are perfectly fine here for Team 1. So again, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video, and I encourage everyone to continue watching to the end. Thank you so very much. Please share this video with anyone and everyone you think would enjoy this, especially your pets, because your pets also like to watch, of course. They also like to hang out with you. So, if you're watching something, they also want to hang out. Why not have them watch? And again, share this video, like I said, with anyone and everyone, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get back onto that action with this nice little fleet up here to the north here for Team 2's Nasimca, going after mass assassinations once again on Team 1's F. Odin. There are some units blocking that retreat. There aren't a lot of AA units as well, and those torpedo bombers are going directly for that cruiser first. Again, go after the thing that can kill you and then kill everything else. The destroyer is down. The main threat is down, of course. They don't have missiles on board. A couple of T2 mechs up here in the northeast as well. But those units are retreating, and the units that are trying to chase them are going to be forced into this corner. Essentially, at this point, Nasimca is just using it as a distraction tool to try to force all these units all the way back here, buy a lot of time for his other units to build up, and it has allowed Team 2 Sulfur to get back in the Navy for the third time in this game. He has put, not his comm himself, but at least units and structures back in that position. Well, actually it's third time in there, second time back. So anyway, you get what I'm getting at. Team 1 has completely eradicated this position here that once belonged to Flying Olsen. We have some ships guarding the approach here from the east. And we have some floated, but walkie-walkie, naughty T2 Salem class destroyers here from Zach, pummeling the remaining structures here for Team 2's Nasimka. And there is a T2 transport online. There's not really a lot to save here, to be fair. T3 Mechs also online, so 27 mass per second coming out of that. That is now the new target of those destroyers. There's still a facility on the edge of this fjord. These like cuts in the land, I guess. Little peninsula-looking thing. Kind of looks like Italy a little bit. There's like a boot right here. Anyway, kind of looks like that kind of cut in the land by the water. But Sulfur actually getting his boots in the water wet once again here on this western side, assisting the western approach here. And Team 2 definitely needs it with the pressure coming up from Team 1. They almost own the entire western edge of the map. And Team 1 staying pretty strong in their map control, though. They need to siege it, seize it, not siege, not with a G, but with a Z, and control it. Because you can send a bunch of mass and units taking out enemy structures and units and whatnot, and then fall back, and then the other team could just rebuild. You got to take it and hold it if you want it. If you don't want it, you could just nuke it, and it's fine. But we do see some T3 Neptunes online. Very good units for taking out T2 and T1 specifically. But there are some bombers inbound here from Zach. Going after those destroyers first. Definitely would have gone after the Neptunes first, though there's not a lot of AA here. There's some inbound, but Team 2, especially the UEF player of Nasimka, needs to pump out those cruisers. Have just one facility pump out cruisers, because those AA boats are just nuts. And they have missiles, so, dual ways to combat your opponent. Destroyers still making their way. I don't know. They can't jump off the cliff there, so they're stuck up here. They would be nice T2 artillery up here, but they're kind of just stuck up there. It's going to take a while for them to walk back to the water. Fleet inbound here from Team 1's Tan player of Exterminator Hunt, going for the main production lines, but they're producing another T3 Neptune, and they're going to go after, I think those are destroyers next. Maybe those are cruisers. I don't know what that symbol is, but that's almost going to finish off. Those Neptunes fall back and intercept those units. Supplementing those naval forces are some Riptides as well. T2 floating units. Very, very naughty that they float, and they're not actual naval units. But there was a game a week or so ago where just floating units were all that like the naval players used for like 10 minutes. So many floating units. So many. Spam factory still on this eastern side just to buy time for Team 2 on this eastern side. Not really going after any sort of main frontline structures. T2 land and T3 air also online here for Sulfur. And Nuke online here for Naberwasser at 26 minutes. Does Team 1 know about it? Excuse me, I coughed there for a second. I had a tongue in my throat. I had a toad? Whatever the phrase is. Nuke is online. Team 1 doesn't know about it. That was the main gist of that. Team 1, do you have any SMDs? No, no, and no. So everything is under threat here for Team 1. Once the nuke is launched, then Team 1 will obviously hastily build SMD. But in the east, those destroyers are churning through those facilities. And I don't think, however, that they can target the main base. That is not the right player. That is Team 1. This is, sorry, Team 2. That is Team 1. And no, maybe it's going to be close. Maybe some of the shields could be hit. But I don't think the main base can be targeted. At least most of the main base can be targeted by those naval units. Team 2 re-pushing here in the middle of the map. But another squadron or so of bombers are inbound. Again, like I said, Team 2 needs to pump out ASF or AA as fast as possible. Those torpedoes going after the destroyers? Yeah, going after the destroyers. Very interesting pick here for Team 1. I mean, either the cruisers or the Neptunes were the two things that I would probably target. Because taking out a frigate or two isn't really going to do a whole lot. I mean, they'll take out a destroyer. That'll be nice, but that's definitely overkill in that regard. There he goes. He's dead, but the main threat are the Neptunes here. He does have T2, and is going to produce T3 in a couple of minutes, but that naval fleet is inbound, supported by Sulfur. Sulfur should hand over everything to his teammate of Nasimka so he can micro those units a lot better. But those lasers are just churning through those T2 units. And T1 spam outbound from Sulfur as well, going after everything that was standing watch here. Those destroyers getting a nice little view on that base over there to the east. And now the ASF starting to make the presence known here for Team 2. Team 1 doesn't really have a whole lot to speak of. They have 9, and Naberwesser has a lot more than that. 75, so definitely air control or dominance for the most part under the hands of Team 2. And we do even see some ASF gifted over by Sulfur as well. So close to almost 100 ASF here for Team 2. I need to learn what that not Control A. I probably have to select Naberwesser. Oh, no, it is Control A. Never mind. That's all air. That's all ASF. That's not all fighters. But I can read that way as well, so that also works. But that fleet is still inbound here from Team 2's blue player of Nasimka. That T2 naval facility is going down, and there's nothing to stop it. Bombers are inbound constantly, but again, they are taking out the cruisers, which is what you should target first, but that is that's dead. That's not going away. It does finish off a destroyer, but that also gets finished off. Team 1 trying to mount a nice little frontline production facility. All the spam in the world here for Team 1's red player of Zach. Has a T3 Galaxy class battleship online, and I don't know where he was going with it. Looks like he was assaulting this position, but I don't think they're going to make a lot of progress out of that. It looks like it's just Neptunes, just producing Neptunes here for Nasimka. And again, Neptune's really good. Probably need some summits in there, but Neptune's still really good. Does look like Sulfur has lost those production facilities once again. And Teleporter has been started, not finished, but started and paused here for Sulfur. And how's that nuke going? Nuke is loaded. Will he launch it immediately or will he wait? Team 1 probably still doesn't know about it. Team 1 does know about it. So not really a lot of excuses if a nuke launches and lands. Team 1 definitely knows about it if they're paying attention. That's if, because, you know, that's a big if. Some of those destroyers have retreated back to the water. Some of them still holding up here. But it looks like all of those destroyers being pummeled down by T2 destroyers outbound from Sulfur. And not really going to get anywhere with some bombers overhead as well. Nuke says, Nar Nerd. Looks like they finally paid attention. But there, again, aren't any SMD officially built yet. I feel like Nar Nerd will build one as he speaks. He's going for a gun. No, that's an engineering suite upgrade, it looks like. Looks like that's the right arm. And the nuke does land. Where is it going? SMD just gets built. Either going for F Odin or I don't know where is it going. Oh no, it is going for F Odin in the east, going for the T2, actually T3, excuse me, naval production facility here for him. SMD is being built, but that's a little late in that regard. That position will be nuked to high heaven. Or baked in holy hellfire if you're a fan of the Warhammer universe. Warhammer 40k universe. And there it goes. Kaboom! Takes out all of everything. Except for a T1 air facility. Except for that. But some of those engineers do get singed. But they're fine for now. And they're producing a bunch of T3 engineers anyways. So we're not really focused on T3 naval production in terms of unit production. And that fleet of a couple of Neptunes with a lot of T1 and T2 destroyers are inbound for the main production facilities of Team 1's Zach. And again, in this instance, I do want it is easier to micro two different fleets if it's two different players. But both fleets went in. One of them backed off, so the other fleet should also back off. But it does look like all of those units from the east here that were outbound from F Odin coming in over here. There's 3 aircraft producing facilities, the aircraft carriers here. Lots of AA on board those ships, but not really a lot of direct firepower against other battleships or cruisers, whatever the case may be. It does have some, but it's not as good. And actually, those are the missiles, actually. They're not actually direct fire weapons. Destroyers lining up to protect those aircraft carriers. The aircraft carriers should just fall back and go back here and wait for the Omen that is currently being constructed. But that fleet, I it's getting pretty close. The units do get transferred over to Team 2's Nasimka, so it looks like Sulfur heard me from the ether. But a nice group of T3 Neptunes are on their way to take out a T3 Galaxy-class battleship that's over here to the west. And they are coming into range. They'll take out the cruiser first. And once the firing arcs are in, all the lasers are in range, and they're just ripping apart that. The battleship, that's got to hurt. ASF protecting the investment over there. Attack in the middle does also occur. And that does look like the battleship is rotating westward to intercept those Neptune-class the battle cruisers. They're not destroyers, but they're battle cruisers. Some of the shots, oh, they do hit the far one, but there goes that battleship being ripped to shreds by three T3 Neptunes. There goes the first one. And some of them are severely wounded and have health, but they pump out a ton of damage on those lasers. Re-engineered or reverse engineered from the T2 Seraphim destroyers. At least that's the head cannon that I'm going with. Because the Utashalas, one of the two, whatever you want to pick. Those Neptunes still being the main command ship / main vessel here for Nasimka. He is producing a summit, though, so that is also nice to see. Oh, yeah, that's a summit. And he does have another one producing here as well. Giant triple-barreled cannons on those things. Just massive, massive things. And the destroyer is being overwhelmed by the direct-fire weaponry of the UEF battle cruiser Neptune class. And those forces are being pushed back heavily. T3 Naval Headquarters is still online and has now produced another battleship, but it looks like they're still tangling with those Neptunes over there to the north. And there's still more Seraphim units hanging out over here for Team 2's Sulfur, just kind of hanging out, because why not? And it looks like the main momentum, main push is coming out from the west here, from that main fleet. There is a battleship back here defending those aircraft carriers. The Omen is coming online, but it's back here. It's going to take a minute to get to that front line, and the summit should be finished and on its way. There it is. It's finished off. Two Neptune class is probably going to escort it. Strap bombers actually flying around here for Team 2 as well. I wonder where they're going. They're going in deep somewhere. Oh, there's my dad joke here for the cast, because water, it's deep. T2 and T1 units just pummeling this battleship as well. Battleships are not impervious, and the Neptune does officially get taken out, but those two battleships looks like they were also taken out. That is a lot of mass underneath the surface of the water. Strap bombers inbound, going after something. Don't know what they're going after. Strapped on bomber over here. Where are these ones going for? They split up, going for different targets, going after T3 Mechs. Don't kill them off, but do a ton of damage to them. And this is huge here for Team 2, knocking out more of those production facilities and mass extractors. Fleet is being pushed back now. The first battleship has been taken out. The second one is now online and on the front line. Neptune class about to be taken out as well. Ooh, there's two shots directly to the face. Battle cruisers still pumping out a ton of damage. Most of the T2 and T1 units have been eradicated. And now Sulfur, for the fourth time in this game, is putting T1 naval factories on scale. Facilities, but factories here. And another nuke is launching. This time it's going after F. Odin as well, taking out the T3 naval headquarters here. And that Omen is definitely not going to finish. Looks like Team 2 strategy is take out the entire eastern side, wrap back around, and go back to the western side. Team 1 still hasn't put boots in the water here on this western side. There's just a destroyer kind of just hanging out down there. Team 2 has reclaimed the southwestern corner, and it is not looking good here for Team 1. Team 1 at that 22-minute mark, as I made my comments about the game, with the whole Team 1, Team 2 kind of thing. Nuke lands, kaboom, takes out everything except for a T1 naval headquarters is going to upgrade T1 facility going to upgrade to T3 headquarters, and a T2 destroyer that got EMP'd for a little bit. Build Navy says non-nerd, and they can, but that destroyer is going to stop them, so that's a thing. And I don't see any. Looks like there are backup facilities being built by F. Odin SMD on the cliff edge here, but that's going to be shot at by naval units here soon. Bombers are inbound again, going after the T3 naval headquarters. Another battleship still hanging out here. And I feel like Team 2 is almost just playing with their food. They could easily take out that T3 naval headquarters. They're just not doing it. Another rush of bombers are inbound, going after the aircraft carriers as well as anything else they can sink their teeth in. There they go. They're going after the cruiser as well, taking out a lot of bombers in the mix. Look at all that flak. Just multiple bombers just being taken out, and now most of that fleet is gone, done and dusted. The rest of those units redirected to this facility here. T3 Neptune taking out the other spam facilities. Where is that summit? There it is. It's back here. Online, hasn't killed anything yet, but will here pretty soon. Team 1 has now lost their last T3 naval headquarters, and they have one Galaxy class running for its life. Huge ball of ASFs now roaming the map here for Team 2's air player of Nabarwasser. And it looks like they're just hiding in the pond over here. Nuke is almost loaded once again, killed off 65,000 mass, almost close to 66. And it is not looking good here for Team 1. They are on the back foot for the most part. And I think at this point I'm just going to speed it up just to 1. T3 coming online here for the F Odin comm, trying to again get some hit points on board that commander and build some T3 structures to boot. T2 has been finished upgrading the T3, but that's going to take a minute though. And counter nuke has been built by Non-Nerd. Has to load it as well, but you need that early bomber from Team 2's Nabarwasser really just set back Team 1 for a little bit. And ASF's coming after those gunships here, but actually we'll take out most of them, I think. All the gunships are retreating though for Sulfur, trying to come back into friendly territory. And just the amount of ships coming out. 2 T3 battleships now online. Actually, a third one is stuck. One facility had to be reclaimed, and that is the downside with having them so close to the environment, is they kind of can't, it's hard to move around. There it goes, he's moving around. But 2 T3 battleships online here for Sulfur, as well as 3 Summit class battleships as well. More for spam. Says Team 1, again the battleship, just the remaining survivor of all that initial construction. And T1 units coming in, taking out those defenses. T3AA being spammed up, as well as T2 torp launchers. T3 naval headquarters producing an Omen class, but I don't think that's going to last very long, considering there is another nice little Neptune, a destroyer. The Neptune actually going after the land facilities over here. A couple of T2 Mechs and a nice T2 radar. Looks like it's going elsewhere though. Summits are moving in as well. This facility will fall, and unfortunately here for Team 1, that will probably fall permanently, because just due to the amount of firepower Team 2 now has access to, and just has on the map in general. And just Team 1 frigates just being thrown at their opponent. The T2 destroyer over here to the west, now preventing the construction of an Atlantis. Looks like it's also submerged, so its main weapons cannot be brought to bear. It'll be taken up by some torp bombers and torp launchers, but I think that's a little late for Exterminator Hun, because all Team 2 has to do is just funnel a couple more units over there and call it a day. Nuke is made a comment by Nasimka, being severely assisted here by Team 1. It is about to be loaded, though. Does Team 1 also have an SMD? No. Oh, no, it's right here. No, it's right here. And it has 2 loaded. That's going to be Team 2's next target, I would assume. Nuke is loaded here for Team 2. SMD as well. SMD and SMD. Not loaded, but built at least at a minimum. But Team 1 has a way to fight back in that regard. And there goes that fleet just into that main bay here for Team 1's F Odin. Was then able to produce a Omen class, F Odin, not F Omen, but Nuke launch here from Team 1. Where is it going? It's going for that main base here for Nasimka. That is not going to feel good, but of course he has the naval side of things to worry about, so his main base isn't a super priority. It still is, to be fair, but it's not the end of the world. All of his engineers able to at least get out of some of the blast radius. Nuke is inbound. Scrap bomber needs to get out of there. I think it already fled. But it's going to take out a bunch of T3 mass fabs and P-gens. Takes out some of the engineers. Some of them do survive. most of the mass and energy is taken out, of course, will severely slow down the production of those units. Is getting some overflow, but it's not a lot, and he keeps freaking out. So that's he's gonna have to deal with that. But Team 2 definitely in the naval dominance game here. Tons of fleet here in the middle here. Bunch of summits. We have summits over here with a Neptune taking out everything that F Odin owns. T2 gunships inbound as well, taking out all the infrastructure here on the land side of things. T3 being spammed up. Actually, that's T2. Didn't get, come take out the P-Gen. But they're targeting the mass FAFs. That's the bigger target here. Bunch of mass being lost per second in that regard. 8 mass, 16 mass, 30, 24 mass, and then probably an SMD as well. I like the air grid back here, but not going to last very long, unfortunately, here for F Odin. And, of course, we have those nuclear-capable battleships online, just pumping out plasma fire constantly. Team 1 Spam trying to just hang on the edge of the map, but that's not going to go anywhere. And now Team 1 Spam Factory is coming online here for Sulfur just to, again, just bottleneck anything and everything here for Team 1. The massive amounts of frigates and bombers are inbound here. Look at this. Just send them in. As Team 2 rages on the scene. ACU says Naberwasser. I don't know. I'll see what he's talking about in a second. That's about to grab on it, but he's building a Tempest here. Nuke is inbound. That Tempest will finish. That's going to hurt. Will he move that Tempest out of the way? Immediately starts firing on those units outbound here from Team 2 Sulfur. No SMD, says Nasimka, but that base is already dead anyways. And lots of spam factories trying to plug the hole over here to the east. Takes out another group of frigates. And F Odin is trying to move out of the way. Nuke is inbound, but it's a little too late in that regard. And Team 1 will face the first kill in departure in the game. Also takes out the Tempest that he was building. Naberwester credited with the kill on F Odin and a Tempest, so a 2-for-1 special in that regard. And a bunch of those frigates were taken out as well here for Team 1. And those T2 bombers taken out. I don't know what they're going for, but most of the damage was done on that naval factory anyway. But Zach taken out by Naberwasser here. I think he just popped into the water. I think he was using his comm. I think he was cybering as well, using his comm offensively with torpedo launcher. But again, 45 minutes, probably not the best idea. 20 minutes, not a bad idea, but not a great idea. It just depends on the situation. Anyway, 45 minutes, not a good idea. Dual nukes online here for Team 1, and now T3 artillery raining in here from Team 2. That nuke is also loaded here for Team 1, so that is very, very beneficial here for Team 2. Looks like, yeah, Disruptor's online. Second one coming online as well. There is a nice little satellite coming on here for Team 1's UVA player of Exterminator Han, and there goes that nuke. It is inbound. It's going for the grid here. Another T3 naval headquarters here, so dual T3 naval headquarters here for Team 2's Nasimka. Love the backup, especially because there's one far forward and one further back. Love that they're not right next to each other. Definitely not the best idea to do that. But we'll take out some things, so I will watch it, and it's all of its explosive glory. Takes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 facilities, 4 facilities. One being a T31 as well. And Torp Bombers trying to delay the inevitable with the battleships inbound. Does take one of them out, and the second one's severely wounded. And Megalith running around the water, running around the land. Looks like it was targeting those. The Atlantis does finish, and a second one is being built for Exterminator. Again, he has a nuke. He already launched that. 2 satellites are online. Nuke here for Team 1's non-nerd. He's lost his SMD. That's going to hurt. Has built teleporter. Now we'll go for laser, because why would you go for teleporter? There it goes. Laser has been started here. And now it's Team 1 with 2 players left. Team 2 at 3 players left. And that Megalith is in the water, but probably not the best idea. It does have Torps on board, but still not the best idea. Atlantis, actually there's 2 Atlantises, apologies. Thought there was only 1. There are 2 of them online. And they're going to hide under the water. Definitely the best idea in that regard. Team 2's destroyers from Sulfur can submerge, but mainly for deterring damage versus dealing damage. because their main weapons are their laser cannons, of course. Line of torp launchers trying to, again, delay. There's a lot of firepower here, but it is being taken out by those Atlantises, pumping out T2 bombers as well. Another destroyer is gone. Battleship is gone. 2 more remain. Team 1 is going to be able to hold off Team 2. Artillery raining in for this position. Don't think there's really anything vital, though, but they're taking stuff out. Nuke is inbound here by Team 1. Where is this one going? Going for this position. Nerd Power lands, does get killed off, but launches the nuke at the last second. Took out the SMD. This position will be taken out. The artillery will be gone. The nuke will be gone. Team 2, if you have a nuke, you got to launch that sucker now, because that's going to hurt T1 satellite. Not T1. Team 1 satellites over top here for Exterminator. Nuke does launch. It's going after the northern side of things. Going after this position, taking out 4 T3 mechs. That's going to hurt. And there goes the nuke. Kaboom! And the nuke survives. Oh, that was close. Ooh, that was very, very close. Team 2's... Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Never mind. No, it's not. There's no engineers, no SACUs nearby. That it's not going to survive. I will retract the statement that I just said. It survived the nuke. Will not survive in general. And there goes the PGen next to it. Why aren't you targeting the nuke launcher? And then the next barrage should kill it off. But that nuke in the northeast does land, so kaboom! And now it is a 3v1 in favor of Team 2. Nabarwasser has been neutered in terms of nuke, artillery, and air grid. Team 1 spam engineers going somewhere, but Team 2 has 1 Navy in the northeastern side of things. They're just dealing with the last amount of Team 1 spam factories. There is a couple of Atlantis here in the west, another one being built. They are starting to spread their influence, but, I mean, once Team 2 redirects all that Navy, it is not a good life here for those submarines. Nuke is loading in the middle. Nuke is loading in the west. Another nuke going to be built as well. I mean, I get, just passively loading the nukes, but I think having 2 is enough. Having 3 is kind of excessive. It only has 700 mass per second. Team 2 is producing 1.4k mass. It's not 1.2, but I jumped to 1.4. It might be power related. But ASF fight does get won by Team 2. They have air dominance here. There's a lot of AA covering some of those facilities, but kill. And then Nasimka says kill, and then Non-Nerd says kill. And Nasimka talking about the crab that's down here. And Non-Nerd talking about the T3 air facilities and the T3 mass fabs. Kill and rebuild Nexus, says Zach. Up here in the northeast. T2 tactical missile launchers. 7,500 mass killed. 23,000 mass killed. 8,000 mass killed. Was that by Sulfur? Is that by his comm? Sulfur, where are you? You're over here. No, yeah, that was by him. Huh. That is very funny. Didn't even notice that. But killed off a ton of mass. Maybe that's what took out the SMD. Chicken on the main base here that once belonged to Non-Nerd. Gonna take out that nuke launcher. That's not gonna survive anytime soon. Shield is down. Nuke lands down here. It looks like it took out the crab. Is that by Team 1? That was by Team 1. Oh, the crab's over here. Oh, okay. Its head is just barely out of the water. This is a very interesting development. I found a little barrier, not barrier reef, but a little, there's a word for that, where it's like where the land underneath the water pops up kind of close to the surface. Anyway, not a shore. It's not what I'm looking for. It's a different word. But the crab does eventually get taken out by torp bombers. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4 Atlantises are going to be built here pretty soon. 4th one coming online. Lots of Navy now redirected to that western side. Team 1, GG, says Exterminator Hun. Chicken is still inbound. T2 Stinger's being spammed up. The air grid is being targeted as we speak. It's not the hugest threat, but it does look like Team 1's play of Exterminator just sees the writing on the wall and control Ks anyways. I actually didn't drop it down back to 0. That's my bad. But, yeah, that was a different map. Very much enjoyed it. I thought having one player isolated is very interesting, because it either forced that player to just really bunker down or just force himself out. And that kind of worked for F. Odin for a while in locking Sulfur out of the water. But and then obviously Team 1 came over here and locked and killed Flying Olsen. But Team 1 wasn't able to hold the territory. Team 2 took it back and then pushed back even more. And then the middle of the map collapsed. But the naval side of things, they came in, took out F. Odin's main base. Nuke came in, took out the Tempest and the Calm. And it just kind of all, trickled down from there. And Team 2's MVP, I mean, Naberwasser, who else can I name? I mean, Nisimka did a very good job with the naval side of things, but Naberwasser took out 30,000 mass with one strat bomber. He killed F. Odin and the Tempest with one nuke. He held air for a while and produced a bunch of torps and took out just constantly was assassinating those mexes here on that western side. Not just in general, but we just with that strat bomber move I saw earlier on. It just he slowed down Team 1's mechs expansion and production, kind of both. He did build a nuke. He got a decent amount of work done with that. He built artillery. I mean, those also got both taken out in a nuke / Novax run, but he still had it, and he still used it, and it was to great effect. So I think in overall, I think Naberwasser deserves the MVP award. Let me know down in the comments if you felt the same way. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one.